You're listening to the WBT Podcast with Michael Lodge. Listen to all of our podcasts at www.wbtpod.com. Stay informed. Let's get started.
And welcome to the WBT. This is Michael Lodge. I'm glad that you've joined me on this beautiful Sunday morning. What is our conversation going to be about? Well, today we're going to talk about wisdom, spirituality. So get your cup of coffee, sit down. Let's have a chat. I'll be right back.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.
I was trying to make up my mind over the night of what I was going to talk about on Sunday. And I thought, you know what? It's a spiritual Sunday. It's a day that we take a little break, a little rest. And it's also that day that we should also probably sit back and really think about what our spiritual needs are. I said at the beginning of the year, I always do a journal, and I always write down of what I'm going to work on for the next year. And so my journal has in it that I'm going to focus on trying to obtain as much wisdom as I possibly can. Now, sometimes that wisdom comes in forms of books. It comes in forms of like podcasts like this. It comes in forms of listening to other people, and sometimes it comes in blunt ridicule or blunt words that come your way. And it can come from a friend, it can come from a relative, an employee. It can come from almost anywhere. It can even come, if you're the president of the United States, it comes from the press all the time. But I was thinking, words are so important because that kind of gives us that drive sometime to think about, well, is that individual really giving me the truth? Are those words true? I love the book of Proverbs. Proverbs you can go to and you can find any wisdom on money matters, on relationships, on politics, on management of people, on love. And one of them is a lot on wisdom. And there is this one verse, it's in Proverbs 19:20. Write it down and go and look at it. And it goes like this. It says, listen to advice and accept discipline. And at the end you will be counted among the wise. I hope that's true because, listen, I have been disciplined a lot. Have I learned from it? Some I have not. But the ones that I've learned from, I've looked at my life and I've said, okay, well, maybe that person's words are something that I can work on. Maybe it's something that I can tweak a little bit. Maybe it's something that I can delete from my life completely. Maybe it's something that I need to change or go in the totally opposite direction just so that I gain a little bit of wisdom and I can be that better person. It is hard when you get disciplined. I mean, it is hard. But I've learned because since I'm a mediator, one of the things is trying to get people to talk, right? There's sitting down, expressing their opinions, and sometimes there are some words of disciplines that goes flying across the table to the other side. And I have literally seen people hear what was said look at what they were doing and completely change at that very moment of how they were approaching this mediation. Words have a lot to say. You're not alone out there. I'm telling you, you are not alone out there when it comes to not knowing how to accept discipline. But it makes you a much wiser person. It makes you this individual that says, okay, I can change. I can do better. I see this in relationships a lot where people have been told that I don't like what you're doing. Then you see the other side stepping back and saying, really? Maybe I did not realize I was doing what you say I'm doing. I tell you, sometimes friends are very blunt, right? I have some very good friends who are very blunt with me a lot of times. And I'm very blunt with them too. The communication process the bluntness goes both ways. I'd much rather have a friend who's blunt with me, who will tell me what they're thinking instead of just sitting there twiddling their thumbs and not saying anything that will help me or accept anything that I'm trying to help them with. Those are the dangerous kinds of people. Those are the people that probably should not be your friends unless you can pull it out of them and see if they will accept the wisdom that you're giving them or you will accept their wisdom. But there are those kinds of people, and we deal with them every single day. You know that kind of person. I know that kind of person. But it's this process of listening that is the most important part of your life. Listen and you will get as much wisdom as you possibly can. I have learned the majority of what I know now because I sat there and I listened and I participated. See, when you listen, you also have to participate. But when you listen, you're not listening to come up with an answer. You're listening to think about it and then participate with what your view may be. But you listen. You gather the data that they are giving you. You're looking at their eyes, you're looking at their body movement, you are looking at their mouth as the words come out because you want to get every bit of that knowledge that you can possibly get. I love sitting around older people. It's amazing what you can learn by just listening to an older individual. Now, I've got to be careful because I'm at that older stage. I don't know if anybody's listening to me. Hopefully that you're listening to me. Or you're falling asleep by now. Take another sip of coffee and wake up so you're listening to me. But God is so good because He listens to us. And you know, we're supposed to model our lives and be Christ-like. And one of the most important things that God does is He listens. He listens to everything that you say, and then He listens to the prayers that you say to Him. See, He's listening to every word that comes out of your mouth. You have a guardian angel that's sitting right beside me, and that guardian angel is reporting everything that you say to God. And when you pray, that angel takes your prayer upward to God and presents it to God in the most beautiful way, in the most understandable way that God wants to hear. But God is listening to every single word, every single swear word, every single rebuke, every single gossip, everything. God is listening. He hears. He observes. And that's the way that we should run our lives also, to be Christ-like and to listen, to hear and to observe. And then pray for the wisdom to say what needs to be said. Just don't listen to utter something at the end of what you've just heard. Sit back and say, God, help me to come with the right words to explain my position or to help this individual. That's what you should be doing. It's a hard process to do. And I try to teach a process of listening when I mediate with individuals who are so upset on the matter of the dispute that they forget how to listen. And sometimes I have to tell them, sit back, listen. That's what I want both of my parties to do. Sit back and listen. Think about the words that you want to say. And say them. That comes from the heart and comes from the mind. And if you have a good argument, state your argument. Don't be abusive. Don't be mean. Don't be sarcastic. But listen and then make your statement. But with wisdom. It is hard. I tell you, you're not alone out there. I have the same problem because we are these human beings that we forget sometimes to listen because we get caught up in the moment, right? We forget about what we need to do, how we should do it, because we're so caught up in the heat of the moment that we want to just belt it out and say, you're wrong. We are really weird human beings sometimes. We just want to belt it out. I mean, we don't think about what we're saying. Same thing happens on the internet. If you go into some of these social media rooms, they just belt it out. And pretty soon they're calling people names. Because they don't think about the words. And the problem is that those words that you put on the internet stay there forever. They never disappear because somebody's copying it, somebody's sending it to somebody else. Your words on the internet matter, but when you say stupid things, they will stay there. People won't find the wisdom that you gave them. But what they hear are the stupid things, the bad things. That really are not you, but you think that you can say anything on the internet. Pull it back, people. Pull it back. Have some civility towards other people. Listen to what they're saying. If you have a good argument, make that argument, but you don't need to call anybody names. I want you to know, even though that you're typing that, God is still watching. And that's what we should all have in the back of my mind. God is watching the words or what I'm typing or what I'm saying. He's watching it and He's listening to it. So I encourage you on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday. Go out. Listen. Have a cup of coffee with a friend and listen. Sit down with your mom and listen. Take some notes. Sit down with your dad. He's got some wisdom there for you. Sit down with a friend and hear their story. You can learn so much from a story. And that's what we all should be doing. Everybody go out and have a beautiful, beautiful day. And remember, you're not alone.
Whether it
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.